What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Fuel channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on professional wrestling. And it is Wednesday night, April 3rd, 2024. And this is your AEW Dynamite review here on a Wednesday night. And, before we get into anything AEW related, I want to acknowledge something real quick. Totally unrelated to AEW. This is WrestleMania weekend stuff. So I'm watching AEW tonight, and I'm scrolling through Twitter, just seeing what everybody's saying about the show. And I see tweets from WrestleTix, and I'm just looking at these tweets, seeing what's going on. And, bro, there were going to be over 16,000 people for a SmackDown Go Home show at the Wells Fargo Center on Friday night. I'm not sure if it's going to sell out, because it's saying that there's over 1,000 tickets still available for SmackDown on Friday, but still, I don't care if this shit doesn't sell out, because having over 16,000 people in the building for an episode of SmackDown is absolutely wild to me. And that is huge for WWE and WrestleMania weekend. And then the next tweet, they talk about Stand and Deliver on Saturday afternoon. And Stand and Deliver has sold over 13,000 tickets. Over 13,000 tickets were sold for Stand and Deliver. And I'm very happy for that brand and that roster, because this is their version of this is their WrestleMania this year. And it's super, super, super rare that those wrestlers get to wrestle in front of a large audience like this, because every single week down at the Performance Center, they're wrestling in front of a couple hundred people. Maybe 200 people at the Performance Center, around there. So they're wrestling in front of a really small audience every single week, besides whenever they go on the road for pay-per-views and stuff like that. But I think it's been since the pandemic that this is their largest. This is going to be NXT's largest crowd since the worldwide pandemic in 2020. And they were there for Dallas and WrestleMania 38, and they did a Stand and Deliver there, and they did a Stand and Deliver last year in Los Angeles as well. But I don't think they got the crowds that they're getting at Philly on Saturday. I mean, 13,000 people for an NXT pay-per-view. That's pretty insane. So, happy for that brand, and I'm happy for the wrestlers that they're going to be competing on the show, because they rarely get the chance to go out there and wrestle in front of a large audience like this. And I bet they're super pumped that they're going to be wrestling in front of a really large audience like this. And I think they're absolutely going to kill it. I'm very, very excited for Stand and Deliver. But we are talking AEW. We got to get back on track here. We're talking AEW tonight. And we were talking WrestleMania tomorrow. So we'll do all the WrestleMania talk tomorrow on the Rated M podcast. Subscribe over there. I'm going to talk more about that at the end. As I hear pouring rain outside, and the weather in the East Coast has been absolutely shitty this week. So for all the people that are flying in to Philadelphia this week, I'm very sorry about this weather, because it's extremely shitty. So let's get back to AEW. We got to get back to business here. this was a good show. I think the stuff that's hitting right now it hits. The stuff involving Swerve, Strickland, and Samoa Joe. That was the best thing on the entire show tonight. Fantastic contract signing to end the show. Excuse me. Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson, they're building to their match at Dynasty. They both had good matches tonight. Will Ospreay wrestled Powerhouse Hobbs, and Bryan Danielson wrestled Lance Archer. And we got a big heel turn tonight after the loss in the semifinals of the tag team tournament to the Young Bucks. As they go in for the big hug, Trent blasts Orange Cassidy with a running knee. And after he hit Orange Cassidy with that knee, he walked past Chuck and he blew off his mother. He walked right past his mother and he left. And that was all that she wrote. The best friends, and we'll talk more about that when we get to that match. But I appreciate you guys very much. Subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. This is the biggest weekend of not only the wrestling weekend, not only the wrestling year, but for my channel. It's the biggest weekend for my channel this year because with me going to WrestleMania this year and it being 25 minutes away from where I live, of course I'm going. Of course I am. And everything got started on Friday night. Everything gets started Friday night at the Wells Fargo Center for SmackDown, vlogging at SmackDown. So if you haven't heard already, subscribe to the channel because we are going to be having 3 vlogs this weekend. Not 1, not 2, but 3 vlogs this weekend from Philadelphia, from the Wells Fargo Center. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and also, if you missed the latest content this week, be sure to go ahead and check that out as well. So, we got to start at the top because it's unfortunate, but this is what people are talking about the most because they hate AEW. Adam Copeland's promo to open up the show, his passionate AEW speech where AEW is good for the business and AEW is where the best wrestle. That's their new slogan. AEW, where the best wrestle. That is their new slogan for the company. And they have every right to say that. Signing Mercedes, signing Okada, signing Will Ospreay, because it makes them out to be like the best truly do wrestle at AEW. But wrestling is more fun with AEW. Wrestling is richer with AEW. And Adam Copeland is cutting this speech about AEW. And we all know why he did this. I'm not going to explain to it why. I'm not going to get into it. That interview between Punk and Hawani was an AEW hate party. And I know that because today, this fucking clown has Cody Rhodes on his podcast. And he asks Cody Rhodes a question about AEW. And Cody Rhodes disagreed with what CM Punk said about AEW. And clearly, it bothered Ariel Helwani. Because it's not the answer he wanted. And then, he interviews Josh Barnett later on in the day. And he asks Josh Barnett about AEW. Josh Barnett gives a positive answer about AEW. Clearly not the answer Helwani wants. He wants negative feedback on AEW. His job is to get negative reviews on AEW. Why? Because he's a WWE suck-up. Because he works for WWE. Because he's not a real journalist. That's most of the reason why I don't take that interview with CM Punk seriously. Because that's only one person's side of the story. And Helwani's not a real journalist. And it's stupid because Josh Barnett doesn't even work for AEW. Or he didn't work for AEW in the past. He had one appearance in AEW. And it was on a pre-show. So, I'm confused. Why are you asking Josh Barnett about AEW? But this is what I will say about the Adam Copeland promo to start this show. I thought the promo was good. I thought that was a good response to everything that Punk said. But here's the counterpart. You would have been better off not saying anything at all. You would have been better off ignoring the entire situation. Because clearly it shows that you heard it, and we have to acknowledge it. And Adam Copeland would have been better off going out to the ring and putting over his match with the House of Black at Dynasty. That's what should have happened. I'm not saying this was shitty because I don't think it was shitty. I thought he called a great promo. But it should have been a different direction. He didn't need to do a whole rah-rah speech about AEW. He would have been much better off going out there and putting over his match at Dynasty with the House of Black. But then he introduces Will Ospreay, and we get our first match of the night. Will Ospreay versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Once again, Don Callis family member versus Don Callis family member. And the story between Ospreay and the Callis family is very... We know where this is going. Right? We know where this is going. The Don Callis family is getting jealous over Will Ospreay, and they are going to turn on him very soon. Ospreay defeats Powerhouse Hobbs in a great match, and this was one of Powerhouse Hobbs' best matches ever in AEW, and that's what will get you. That's what happens when you wrestle Will Ospreay. You have your best match in AEW, and Will Hobbs had one of his best matches in AEW tonight. The match started immediately with a huge shoulder pounce onto Ospreay, and Ospreay sold it like his rent was due. So that was awesome. There was a spot where there was steel steps set up, and Ospreay was over the barricade. He jumped over. He was caught by Hobbs, and he was suplexed onto the steel steps by Powerhouse Hobbs. And I literally cringed while watching that spot. And then he points at Callis and he says, "You made this match together." And he scoop slams Ospreay onto the announcer's table. So, and then Ospreay, they pick it up after break. Ospreay, he comes back. He hits a Hurricane Rana off the top rope to Hobbs. He then goes back to the top rope. He hits a corkscrew onto Hobbs. He landed right on his face, so kind of been landing by Ospreay. And then he hit the hitting blade onto Hobbs, and Ospreay won. Ospreay won. So, again, great match. This was really nothing crazy, though. The craziest spot of the match was the suplex onto the steel steps. But again, outside of that, this match really wasn't that crazy. It just goes to show you how good Will Ospreay is in the ring. So you idiots on social media think Ospreay's good because all he does is flippy shit, and he can't tell a story, and he doesn't know any different styles of wrestling when he's actually adjusting to wrestling on television, where he's not doing tiger drivers, doing picture-in-picture, and he's not hitting Spanish flies, doing picture-in-picture. He worked not a big man style, but a slower style against Powerhouse Hobbs, and you want that because you want your wrestlers to adapt to the opponent in your ring. So, he just wrestled a great match against Powerhouse Hobbs. He's celebrating on the ring apron, and Bryan Danielson steals all his momentum. He steals his celebration, he steals his moment, and it's his turn. Because he goes out to the ring and he's about to wrestle Lance Archer. They both wrestled in the main event of Collision when it was Danielson, Claudio, and Katsuyori Shibata against Lance Archer and the Righteous, and the Babyface Team 1, of course. But I guess that's how we're getting Danielson and Archer tonight. They had a very good match. Danielson won after 2 running knees. The first one got Archer onto 1 knee, and the second one, he hit Archer square in the face. And he pinned him. So, there is that. And then this is kind of where the show gets dull. The show doesn't get good. Chris Jericho comes out, and he's calling out Hook. And this shit is just not working, man. I don't know. It's probably because of Chris Jericho. And I love Hook. And I love the fact that Hook is getting good. He's getting TV time. Good for him. But these people do not want to see Chris Jericho. These people do not care about Chris Jericho. And it would be better off now if he was not on television. But here we are. It's happened in the past in WWE where we don't want to see wrestlers on television, and we are seeing them jammed down our throats, and we see them every single week. It's what's happening right now with Chris Jericho. We don't want to see Chris Jericho on television. But ever since after Revolution, Chris Jericho has been on our television with Hook every single week, and we don't want to see him, but AEW is jamming Chris Jericho down our throat. We don't care about Chris Jericho. We don't want to see Chris Jericho. Just have him turn on Hook already, because that's obviously what's going to happen. You either get him off television or turn him heel. And it seems like they are going to be turning him heel via a Hook heel turn. So, and then this Billy Gunn Jay White match. Ugh. This was so bad. This was so bad. You're telling me that you just can't have Jay White beat Billy Gunn? Billy Gunn! No offense to Billy Gunn, but Jay White should be beating Billy Gunn clean. Billy Gunn is a legend, but Jay White should be going places. And I'm still giving this feud with the Acclaimed a chance. But why are we not booking Jay White to beat Billy Gunn? He loses via DQ. Why? Why? I don't understand. I didn't understand it at all. And I actually didn't think the match was that good. So, this was a total flop. This match. But you know what was not a flop was the match with the Young Bucks and the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy and Trent. That was not a flop. I actually thought that match was great. Sue was there, and it really, things picked up when the Young Bucks were going on a super kick party. They super kicked Trent. They super kicked Orange Cassidy on the outside. They super kicked Chuck, who was not in the match. And then they were about to super kick Sue. And Sue was getting chants. Like the Worcester crowd was chanting Sue's name. Or wherever they went tonight. I think it was Worcester, Massachusetts. And and Sue slaps the Jacksons. She slaps Matt Jackson. And Orange Cassidy gives Matt Jackson an orange punch. He throws him in the ring, gives him one of his DDTs, and he tags in Trent. They hit the Storm Zero onto Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson breaks it up. Then Trent needs some encouragement. He needs some encouragement. So what does he do? He goes over to the corner, and he gets a kiss from his mother Sue on the cheek from his mother Sue. He goes to hit the running knee, and he gets thrown into the turnbuckle, which was exposed, and he rolls up. Trent does Matt Jackson, and the Young Bucks are going to the finals of this tag team tournament, and they are on their way to winning the tag team championships. And I also want to point out, too, that during their entrance, Matt Jackson was on, when he got to the face of the camera. He's like, "Yo, Scapegoat, I like your work. I love your work." So, I mean, listen, Jack Perry's been shouting out the Young Bucks in New Japan. The Young Bucks just shout out Jack Perry. I think whenever he comes back, I think Jack Perry would be a pretty damn good addition to the Elite. And I think that would fit really well. After the match, the crowd is giving a standing ovation to the Best Friends, and as soon as the Best Friends were in the middle of the ring and the music stopped playing, I'm like, Trent's turning heel. And they all go to the corner to do the group hug, and instead of going in for the hug, Trent blasts Orange Cassidy in the face with a running knee. And I mean blasts Orange Cassidy in the face. So, I'm excited. Finally, Trent has turned heel. Forgot to talk about this segment. Willow Nightingale was out in the ring with Renee and Chris Statlander. She's getting her TBS Championship match at Dynasty, and Mercedes comes out, and she claims that at Double or Nothing, I get the winner. And I'm very confused by this, because She's getting a TBS championship match at Double or Nothing. But I'm telling you right now, bro, that cannot be her first match in AEW. That just can't. She has to wrestle before Double or Nothing. That you just cannot have her go out there, claim her shot at the TBS championship, and not wrestle. She has to wrestle before this match. Otherwise, why is it justified that she's getting a championship match against Julia or Willow Nightingale? So, I hope she's wrestling very soon, because that would not make sense to have her first match before a championship. No way. Thunder Rosa and Mariah May. Winner faces Toni Storm at Dynasty. Thunder Rosa won after a Tialomo driver, I think she calls it. And Toni Storm, she looked pretty concerned on commentary. So for the first time in her title run, Toni Storm looks worried about her next challenger. And she should be. They have history. I'm so happy they did not run it back with Deonna Purrazzo. Thank God they did not run it back with Deonna Purrazzo. She had her chance. She lost. It's time to move on. Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm is the much better match at Dynasty. And I'm sure Toni Storm is going to win. And then I want to get to this segment. Swerve and Samoa Joe in the contract signing for the World Championship match at Dynasty. This segment was fantastic. Swerve is out there, and Joe is out there as well. And Joe goes, I want you to realize something before you sign this contract. What you're doing right now is you're not rewarding yourself with a championship match. You're actually hurting yourself. You're making a mistake. You're making one of the biggest mistakes of your entire career. You're making one of the biggest mistakes of your entire career. And he said, I'm going to beat you down so severely, it's going to leave you mentally scarred like you left Diddy's party too late. And that got a big pop. These guys were cooking on the commentary. Not the commentary. In this contract signing. And Swerve says, this is all I've ever wanted. And he says, I'm going to bring it, and I'm going to show you on April 21st that I am indeed the man. And after he cuts his promo, Joe tries to punch Swerve, and Swerve takes that chain that he's been walking around with and wraps around Joe's neck. And Joe's looking around him like, you motherfucker, and starts punching him in the face with that chain over and over again. He's making punching Swerve all over the ring with that chain in his hand. Swerve is busted open. He's like laughing at Joe. And he's like, if that's all you got, then I'm going to take your championship. He takes his pen. He traces blood on it. He then takes his hand and he wipes the blood on the contract for the World Championship match. And that's how Swerve signs his contract. Joe then runs into the ring, knees him in the gut, and gives him a Uranagi through the table and holds up his AEW World Championship. So, fantastic segment. Swerve is an absolute rock star. He is the face of AEW. I'm already giving him that title, that he is the face of the company right now. He's everything that AEW represents. And he's my favorite wrestler in the world right now, man. He is on top of the world right now. And he's going to be on April 21st, hopefully. They better fucking crown that man in St. Louis in 2 weeks. So, that's all I got, man. That's your Dynamite review tonight. And there is going to be more content tomorrow night. I'm going to be over on the Rated M podcast with Cameron Johnson, Mo, and Chris to talk about WrestleMania. Be sure to subscribe to that channel. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, man. I got 3 huge vlogs coming up for you guys this weekend. We are going to be at SmackDown and the Hall of Fame on Friday night. We are going to be vlogging, getting some footage from there. Then Saturday, I'm going to be at Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania. We're going to be doing a WrestleMania Night 1 vlog. And then Sunday, we're going to be doing Night 2 of WrestleMania. So, guys, I'm getting on out of here. Subscribe, comment, hit that like button. Follow me on Twitter, Colin_Joseph, and I'll see you later. Have a good one. Stay safe, and as always, stay classy, and I'm out. Peace.